I hoped to start on time, but had to hold off instead. There was an issue with my connection. For some reason, the headphones that I had, they were dead. I guess what else did I have for an expectation? But there you go. That was my introduction. Didn't think that one through too much. Why am now my eyes are bloodshot again? Anyway, let's do no preamble this time. You've all clearly waited long enough. I mean, everyone is was saying, "Oh, it's a VHS. That's why it wasn't working." No, the reason is because Restream did not detect my headphones coming in, and that would have been catastrophic. Because I mean, the music of Team Starkid is amazing, but you don't want it repeating constantly just feedbacking on itself. So there you go. But yes, thank you to to Ghost Kitty and Prism of Voices for waiting. And also thank you to BB for also waiting in the corner.
Anytime. And I'll have you know, I feel like I'm being underappreciated, as a matter of fact. Because, I'm like... See, guys, he's saying, thank you for waiting in the corner, as if I was not in chat with you guys. Okay? I'm just saying, it was a lot more than a corner that I've been in.
Oh, no, I do see one now.
I'm being mistreated here and abused by my fellow creators.
Well, the reason, hopefully this will make up for it, because the reason that we're doing a stream today is because you said that you had work off today.
I do.
And I felt like this one was going to be one that you would want to see, particularly. I mean, it had to be done around this time of year, and I happen to know that you have read the source material about this one.
And watched 3 adaptions.
Well, here's a 4th.
Also, thank you, Prism. I love you as well. Jacob actively turning down the volume quietly and hoping no one notices in the back.
Well, I hope people do notice, otherwise the people will just still be loud.
Long ago in London, 1800 something, 1224, the day before Christmas. There's a greedy old geezer
named
Ebenezer Scrooge.
Named Ebenezer.
It's gonna be the thing that rhymes, obviously.
I was technically not wrong. I even said the first name.
He never laughs and he's never smiled. He's a total dick to man, woman, and child, and a total jerk to Bob Cratchit, his clerk.
I thought Dylan Saunders was about to start singing there when he like lurched forward, but no, just like scowling as Scrooge, but you can't see his face in the lighting.
And he hates Christmas and he hates fun. And he really hates you. He hates everyone. The only things he doesn't
Ruby indeed.
Making money at work. And if you say happy holidays, he'll shout his favorite phrase.
What's the phrase?
Bah humbug.
Bah humbug. Bah humbug. There's no meaner dude than Ebenezer Scrooge. Bah humbug.
It's an up actually.
Bah humbug.
Man, Scrooge is a lot younger here than I was expecting.
This is true, and I'm surprised about that, but I think I know why. I'll say after the song's over.
There's no meaner dude than Ebenezer Scrooge.
He almost threw that.
So Scrooge is working, and his clerk is clerking. When in walks Fred Scrooge's nephew. Hi, Scrooge.
Oh, he gets a cheer. Alright then, fine.
What
Yay, Corey!
Merry Christmas, Uncle, God bless you. What's so merry about it, Fred? Aren't you still super poor? Aren't you still in debt? Well, what's so shitty about it? Scrooge is still rich. Bah! Uncle Scrooge, I'm just saying hey, and inviting you to dinner on Christmas Day. You're my family, even though you're a total dick.
Well, okay, hold on. Points for Scrooge. Points for Scrooge, as a matter of fact. Hold on. Because I know how that family tree lines up. Because if this guy, right? Because he's meant to be the nephew, right?
Yeah, he's Fred.
Yeah, okay, so if he's Fred, right? Fred is. Oh wait, no, never mind. Sorry, he was the sister's daughter. Never mind, his sister's son. Never mind.
Yeah, what point were you trying to make here?
That in 1800s Scrooge isn't racist. It's the 1800s. Like.
What has that got? Where did that like?
Because they're saying
that would
it
have.
was very
If that
mean
were a
and
concern,
everything.
that would have happened. If that were a concern, that would have happened regardless of whether or not what side of the family Fred was from, right?
Well, no, I just forgot how the family tree added up.
Even if it added up
Well,
differently, that still would have been.
Well, no, because what I was
if-
thinking is that was that it was like his wife's kid because his wife left him, and I was like, oh no other way.
That wouldn't make him a nephew.
Yeah, I know that. That's why I corrected myself. Durr.
You have nephews. You know how this works.
You know what? No, I had an argument with Shorty a while
Your nephew?
back.
Oh,
Okay, and Shorty and I we were watching The Walking Dead with Cherry, and
Yeah.
and Cherry and I were talking about, would we survive the zombie apocalypse, right? And Shorty thinks that I would be killed on the spot, not from the zombies, but from the people that think I'm insufferable, and so upon inquiring, hey, well, what do you think exactly would get me killed? And so he's all like, oh, well, because, you think you're right all the time. And so I'm like, well, maybe I just don't say the incorrect things. Maybe I simply think if I'm wrong, I either correct myself immediately or don't let it out of my mouth.
Yeah, it is strange when people say to some people like, oh, you think you're right all the time. When if someone makes any statement, they're going to think that they're right at first, and then if they find a counter argument, then and this doesn't convince them, they're still going to think that they're right. I feel like that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, and
under
so
normal circumstances.
And so then I ask, a little bit rhetorically, but I'm a little bit curiously as well. I'm like, okay, fine. Would you rather I say the incorrect things that pop into my head more frequently? To which I get the response, yes. And so I'm like,
Let it be
okay.
known, Shorty advocates for fake news, apparently.
And so I'm like, okay. So the problem here is not that you think I'm egotistical. The problem is that you don't get to correct me as much. And somehow that got him a little flustered. So I'm beginning to suspect
Honestly,
he's not the most honest about that argument. And so
if he wants to correct you more, all he has to do is come in on Gotcha Review. We rebuke your points all the time on there.
It's so true. So true.
Shorty must love
Dude,
Facebook.
No, Facebook is so old though. I don't know if he knows what a Facebook is.
Don't we have a joint Twitter account with Shorty? A site that was created in like what year was Twitter? Like 2006?
Yeah, Twitter's still used though.
Okay. It's almost only 2 years younger than Facebook.
Yeah, and it's also still used.
All right then.
Okay.
The story of the Spirits of
Internet,
Christmas Past.
2 years
present,
is
and future.
ancient.
I love how Ghost Kitty knew the story of Christmas Carol, but not that it was called A Christmas Carol. That does speak to the fact that a lot of the times they forget to reference the actual Christmas Carol in most adaptations of A Christmas Carol.
Well, I mean, the Christmas Carol isn't even all that important, to be honest. Like the Carol.
Oh no, but it does make it. It's the title of the book, so you would think it would come up at least once.
I mean, I guess
don't know.
the Carol's mentioned like twice in the actual story.
Yeah, actually, last year, apart from this, there was also another new Christmas Carol adaptation that came out. I can't remember what the actor's name was, but he did like the whole thing by himself.
Is it?
in, like,
Is it all
one
CGI?
consistent shot. Like, no, actually, it's an abandoned house, and he happens to like narrate part of the book, and then he and there's just like the camera will follow him the entire time. I don't think there's any like cuts at all, and they'll just like change the lighting and the setting around the house, and got a bunch of like sound and such. It was quite an interesting experience. But yeah, no CGI.
Okay. No, there is a CGI version that has some really fun sound design that I got during it. It was quite nice. Like earlier in the movie, right? They do actually this during the intro. It's like the what is it? God rest ye merry gentlemen. Nothing you dismay. What is that one?
For Jesus Christ our Savior was born on Christmas Day.
Yeah. And they play the instrumental of that, and then it slows down the instrumental to match the tempo of the intro music, so it like feeds in seamlessly. It's great.
Yeah.
And then later on, whenever he's being chased by like the ghost of Christmas Yet to Come, technically future.
Yeah, I've heard that.
And whenever he's being cheer, the bum 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 very slowly, and it like but it's only during bits of that theme. So it's like it's feeding in, and it's extra menacing, right? Because like the whole thing is like God rest ye merry gentlemen, because that's the very specific part that that bit of the instrumental is at, right? That exact lyric, which is great, because whenever you're talking about a thing that embodies,
it's not the second verse.
Whenever it's talking about an entity that like embodies death, having the instrumental that only plays during the God rest ye merry gentlemen completely recontextualizes that one lyric. It's so good.
And that's like the kind of thing you can only do when you play around with classics, I suppose. Because obviously you have to do something different every time with Christmas Carol, because otherwise, what's the point? There's like 100 of those. But also, you know, God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen, that's like that again is a very known Christmas Carol.
Yeah.
So people have it in their minds all the time.
Yeah, it's just so.
I found out this year, We Through Kings is not among that list. But that's another story for another day.
It's just so cool they wrap that back around with, except it's like with the embodiment of death, and it's slow, and it's a little bit like deeper, so it's more like a Gregorian chant without the lyrics. But because it's so iconic, we know what the lyrics are. So if you're listening to it, it's
I just said that, but yeah. Hello to Green Jade. We weren't ignoring you. I just didn't want to like interrupt the flow of the conversation. This is such a good adaptation of A Christmas Carol. I was going to get into this like after this song finished. I was going to like explain how this came about, but this was I think the first thing they did after lockdown ended for them. And the reason it's called Christmas Carol Live is because there was a version that wasn't live, and that was the version they did as a VHS tape, which I'm pretty sure they still have they still have to be able to purchase that. So maybe that's why Corey got a chant from before. Maybe because he was so memorable in that. I have seen like a couple of numbers from the original VHS Christmas Carol, because some of them got posted on YouTube as clips, but this is the only full version that there is, and I think it is the better one, despite the whole. I know that you like the VHS aesthetic, and I was tempted to track that down, but considering it's behind a paywall, I don't want to just like do a reaction to something and then have people come to this video for free, and then like it doesn't sit well. So yeah, we're doing this.
The perfect thing to say. Bah humbug, bah humbug. Christmas with you and your life. I'd rather take my own life. Bah humbug.
I was cheering for Corey. Okay, all right then.
Please tell me he picks up a steak.
Okay, I love you too. Freddy's not surprised, he always knew. There's no meaner dude than Ebenezer Scrooge.
Okay, that's weird.
Most of Stark is in front of a live audience.
That's weird, because that's part of.
What a great freeze frame. Go on.
I get it's for the song, but that does go a little bit against Fred's characterization.
Okay, good afternoon. And then, as narration, he says, Fred is not surprised, he always knew. There's no meaning to than Ebenezer Scrooge.
Right, but him doing that next to Scrooge is weird.
I'm pretty sure that's just how the song is structured, because he wouldn't refer to, he's not kawaii-chan, he doesn't refer to himself in the third person whilst talking to Scrooge.
He might.
About Scrooge.
He might.
No.
Just then, come up to the door, requesting, collecting,
donations. He's got a knife in his hand.
They don't know Scrooge is greedy, that he doesn't care about the needy. So they ask old Ebenezer, please show some love. Scrooge kicks him out with a big old bah humbug.
And yes, it's a live audience. Most of Starkid stuff is from live audiences.
Wrapped up in a warm jacket. Cause Scrooge keeps the place freaking freezing.
Just put that on now.
Mr. Scrooge, sir. Not to be rude, sir. God damn it, Cratchit, start speaking! Well, you see, my family, they're kind of a real big deal to
Another
me.
good web music
His
cutting out.
words trail off in a voice timid and soft.
Yes, some of their friends are probably
And I was
there, but they
thinking
do
since
multiple
tomorrow's
nights.
Christmas,
It's not
and generally
impossible.
a pretty slow day for business. Let me guess, Bob, you'd like tomorrow off. Yes, sir. So let me get this straight. You don't work, but still get paid. Why don't you just rob me, Bobby? Or steal food from my plate? You're lucky I'm so understanding, even though you're so demanding. Okay,
Yeah.
have your way. Come in early the following
Joey's work is
day.
always great.
But before you go,
Trails off
please
as well.
wait. There's something I need to say. Bah humbug, bah humbug, the sun goes down on London town. Scrooge closes up and he heads out. He gets back home and doesn't know.
This Christmas he won't be alone.
And though the day is done, Scrooge's tale has just begun. Let's see how he does this Christmas, 'cause it's the story of the angriest hater, the crankiest neighbor, the greediest geezer, the cruelest creature. No one meaner than Ebenezer Scrooge.
Just do my choreography. That's Dylan Saunders. Yeah, but Dylan and Joey, I think, are best like doing like emotion with music at the same time, and Lauren too. Doesn't get
They
too much to do in
skipped
this
one of my favorite lines during those scenes.
Is the stake of holy through his heart?
Yeah,
Yeah, I thought he would. I
yeah.
thought that'd be it.
If it's like, if I could see every man with like a Merry Christmas upon his lips, I wish to stake him through the heart with, or like stick him through the heart with like a stake of holly and bury and like boil him in his own pudding.
Hmm.
Which is
I
such
wonder
a
what the
sick
line would have
line.
been to. I wonder what the line would have been to like lead into that. Yeah. I don't know if I.
That's what I was wondering. Like him,
Scrooge
like it'd
was
be
so
so
greedy.
cool with him, like metaphorically,
So
like swinging at
greedy.
people with like a stake of like holly. That would have been
I'd
sick.
rather see them forsaken. Yeah. How were they so jolly? Jab them with holly. I don't know. Turn it into a woodpecker and stake 'em. I don't know, something like that. I don't know. Whatever it could have been. If I had to rap it with that. Oh my goodness, can you imagine? 80s rap. Oh, I should point this out. Yeah, all of the tracks in this are deliberately 80s because VHS, but also because Team Starkid does that anyway. There's a lot of stuff they've done with 80s stuff. Another great thing, once we get around to Annie, that's one I definitely. I don't know. Who's more into Star Wars, you or Aiden?
I would.
Questions for later.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'd like to think I'm a pretty big Star Wars fan.
Okay.
Solitude, when a distant sound slices through the quiet and solemn mood.
Oh yeah, I've Starkid for years.
Each sound closer than the one before. Suddenly, even though it's closed, walking literally through the door. A see-through man
Not
with
walking.
chains for clothes, dragging them across the floor and frozen in fear as the ghost man draws near. Scrooge gives a shriek as the man.
Okay, so how is it that Marley, who's supposed to be walking right now through the door, is frozen, but Scrooge is meant to be frozen in fear, is like lowering himself down? I never noticed that before. And yes, I like the song too. It's the one I referenced in the opening. There's one that's more obvious that I will reference in the opening, but you know, I like to be a little bit unpredictable sometimes.
Scrooge, remember Marley, your old partner and friend? Just thought I'd drop by, I was in the area.
Another cheer.
Remember Jacob
old
Marley,
Meredith,
your old
whose name I don't know how to say,
partner instead.
last name I don't know how to
You're in
say.
for one crazy night just to prepare ya. Life on the other side isn't a party, at least not for Marley
Where's the chains?
I come from the other side.
Good. I guess around her neck, around his neck, the character. But
Because
yeah,
there's supposed
I
to be
guess-
like chains attached to like presumably his legs, like pulling him down to the ground of Scrooge's room.
yeah. I don't know. Maybe they play around with that, and the blocking wasn't good on like live on stage.
Yeah, I
Not
guess
really
it would be
sure.
difficult to lug those things around.
Yeah. Well, see, this is what should have been the rap cover then, if that's the case with Marley with the chains.
To give you a warning that before the morning light, you'll be haunted by three spirits. Three spirits. So Scrooge, you gotta listen, 'cause they're coming for you. Talking about three spirits. Three spirits. Christmas spirits on a mission, and they're gunning for you.
Who are you again?
Scrooge, don't pretend. I'm Marley, I'm your dead friend.
I won't
Okay,
believe
that's
it,
weird.
don't wanna
Again.
hear it.
No way.
So in the book, they make a point to show like a disassociation between Marley's spirit and Marley himself. In fact, Scrooge even asks, "Who are you?" To which Marley responds, "Ask who I was."
Yeah, apart from ask who I was, most of what you said just happened.
No, but it's
I mean-
it's weird showing like such a clear like, oh yeah, I'm Marley. Like
I guess because he said that bit when he started singing. That's probably why. But Scrooge still didn't recognize him.
Am I your first spirit?
You're just indigestion.
What a suggestion to a ghost that's pretty offensive.
You're just a nightmare.
Stop you right there.
Fine, you're real. What do I care?
Scrooge, I was like you in life, cared only about myself and continuing success in our profession.
I
Spirit
remember.
never grew
I
in
was there.
life. I only grew my wealth, and you probably guessed that yes, I'm not in heaven.
nope, again.
I think if we put
These
this one.
scary
That's
jeans I
not
wear.
accurate. That's
Oh.
that's another point of differentiation, and a lot of adaptions mess this up too. Where they portray Marley as being similar to Scrooge in the sense of being like cruel and greedy and selfish. And to a degree he was, sure, but not to this level. In the book, they make a point that Marley's like, hey, all these chains that bringing me down, this was sure it was part of my business and all that, right? But my trade was the work you do. My business was mankind, right? So it's implied that he's significantly nicer in his life, and even makes a point like, hey, you had my exact same chains years ago, and that's why I'm sending these spirits after you. It was always implied that he was nicer than Scrooge.
It's going to be worse.
So it's one of those weird things that I notice in a lot of adaptations where they assume they were the same. My interpretation was always that they were probably similar to each other for a while, and then after Marley's death, that's what set Scrooge down the path, and it was probably just this form of grief manifesting into the hatred to humanity. That's how I always interpreted that.
Okay, so, but then because that's weird, because even without that, then if the chains would have been the same for Scrooge years ago before Marley's death, then
No.
what's
What
the
I'm
point of
saying is
that?
Marley saw his chains firsthand. Marley had been trying to interact with Scrooge, but didn't have the strength before. I don't think it's ever said why.
Okay,
So Scrooge had the exact same chains that Marley does now around the time of Marley's death.
right. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
right, fine.
And during the events of this story, they are significantly longer and in more amount.
Yeah, one thing I've always wondered actually was how long Marley has been dead for actually, because isn't the first line of the
7
book,
years.
isn't the first line of the book Marley is dead? It
Yes.
feels like they're reporting like recent news.
No, it's because that's being narrated by the writer. Charles Dickens. That's why in the
No, I understand that because it's from the third person perspective. It just feels like it's being reported as if it just happened.
No, I think it's meant to be read as more like a campfire story of like you're lining across and they even mention like, hey, if you don't know this detail, then nothing in the story will seem wondrous, right? You have to have the pretense that his best friend has been dead for 7 years. And they even go into like a whole tirade about how weird dead as a doornail is, and then he's like, okay, right, circle back. He's dead.
Yeah, I remember that from the other adaptation I saw last year.
Yeah.
The one with the one actor who, again, I've forgotten who they are.
Yeah, you'll understand it a lot more if you treat it as more like a campfire story, I think.
I mean, yeah, kind of think of it now. You mentioned that a lot of Christmas Carol works as a campfire story.
Yeah.
Apart from the ending, I'd say.
Also around you, they've already bound you tight.
The problem is, if you actually do tell the Christmas Carol as a campfire story, people are going to fall asleep before you finish.
But it's such a good... It is a horror story, too. I would say it's more of a horror than a Christmas story. Some of those narrations
That wasn't what I
are
was getting
freaky.
at. That wasn't what I was getting at. I mean, it was so long that people would just be like, okay, I'm tired. I'm going to go to bed. Let's continue this tomorrow.
Unless you can wake up and listen to Jacob, 'cause tonight you'll be home.
I will say, one of my banes of my existence is when writing songs is that not many things rhyme with my name.
By three spirits, three spirits, three spirits,
Oh, there's the chains. There's the chains. Background.
talking about three spirits, three spirits, three spirits.
The chains are much more pretty than I always imagined.
Hey, I mean, they don't have to be ugly. They should still drag him down.
That's fair. They do
They'll
the
be
job.
done before the morning sun,
Yeah.
and they might have a chance to save your life.
Jacob, do you need to be so over the top and mean to me?
Scrooge, we live so greedily and indecently. Did we need to be? Now I'm doomed to float among the living, to see the life I could have lived but didn't.
I do too.
Oh, yes,
It's
good
quite
old
nice.
stage
Seeing
blue.
all the love and the kindness
How can I
and
fit?
forgiving, regretting every wasted hour and minute. Scrooge learned a lesson from my mistakes. Hear my message and confession. Your soul's at stake for your own sake. Listen to Jake. 'Cause tonight before day breaks, you'll be haunted by three spirits.
Three spirits,
Three spirits.
three spirits.
So Scrooge, you gotta listen,
Oh,
'cause
also,
they're
the-
coming for you. I'm talking
The
about
screen behind them is
three
called like free as
spirits.
well.
Oh,
Yes, got it, yeah.
Spirits,
Spirits on a mission and they're coming for you.
Marley's dancing in the moonlight, but it's time.
Oh, yeah, Scrooge is just not having any of this.
Flies away into the night, jumping right through the window, joining 100 other ghosts as they fly all about. Scrooge, let's go.
Among Us? What's Among Us got to do with what? Oh, right, Amongst the Living, fine. Among Us would make a great musical, by the way.
Imposter has to be an entire song.
The clock is struck.
Oh, yeah.
Scrooge is woken up.
How quiet and
Oh, I guess before we move on, since you mentioned the casting of Corey as Fred, I'll mention the casting of Meredith as Jacob. That in the same way, we'd have to, if we were considering this with a degree of realism, I guess that would mean the 1800s were not a transphobic time either. However, as I've said before, Starkid have a method with casting. It's my favorite method of casting in anything in theatrical, which is called not caring. So there you go.
It all must have been a dream. But no, he's out of luck.
His curtains open up.
And staring at Ebenezer is a paranormal creature.
Oh, I know it's unpopular opinion to have the most musical.
He wants to run away but can't make a move. All the man can say is, who are you?
Anyway, song time.
Those thighs, oh my god, they're so big.
I mean, she's getting plenty of cheers for that, I suppose. Good grief. Caring by not caring. I like that.
I went to school here, I'd know it anywhere. I know each desk and chair. I was popular, so cool here.
How accurate is that?
Not really. I seem to recall him revisiting himself alone.
Yeah, I kind of that's because he was not allowed to go home at Christmas, right?
Yeah, it was implied that he lived in an abusive home, both he and his sister, and that he had been kicked out. And presumably both of
Yeah,
them,
so
but at least him.
yeah, so what I'm saying is the reason that he was alone was because it was Christmas time and everyone else was allowed to go back for the holidays and he wasn't, right? It's not that he was alone all the time necessarily.
Well, no, it was he had friends, I think, but I don't think it was very many. But I might be misremembering. I think he was generally a little bit alone and sad.
I mean, he might have like hyperinflated himself in this version because I mean,
well, I mean,
why
it
not?
makes sense. Well, I mean, it makes sense that he would be alone and sad, though. I mean, if you're in that situation, like, I wouldn't be surprised if he's
yes, during the Christmas holidays. What I'm saying is he's hyping himself up now by saying he was popular because he wants to remember himself that way, or he thinks that was what he was like.
Oh,
Whereas in reality, maybe he was like, "Oh, I guess I had a few friends." No, it's like it makes me, Mr. Popularity, but I wasn't always alone just around Christmas.
the bit where they do say he has like fantastic memory of it, though, that's accurate. They make a point to specify that in the book.
This is Jamie. What? There's another Jamie. Hold on a second, I missed that. I know there were two Laurens at one point, but yeah, who's the second Jamie? Yeah, this is Jaime Lyn Beatty, by the way. Yeah, OG starkid member. What about the other one?
I see a boy sitting all alone.
Dad made me stay at school.
His classmates have all gone home.
He was pretty cruel.
Spending Christmas all alone.
Ah, okay, right then.
Nowhere else to go.
I'm the ghost, I'm the ghost.
And of course, that warrants. I'm onto the audience here. That being said, the dance moves baked into like 80s workout videos. Makes a lot of sense.
Oh yeah, her whole thing being yoga moves is so clever.
Yeah, classic VHS, I guess. I say it like I've watched a bunch of VHSs. I've watched JonTron watch VHSs.
I've seen quite a few VHSs back whenever I was younger in daycare. We used to have an old TV, so I have my fair share of VHS history.
Oh yeah, no, actually, to be fair, like at one point we used to live like right in the US. I used to live like right opposite of a Blockbuster, and so we used to like rent like Dora the Explorer videos. That's how long ago it was. So for that reason we had a VHS player. Then they stopped and they took away their entire VHS section. They just had DVDs. So I have a permanent resentment towards the Care Bears for that.
Oh my God, I could kiss you. You're the best little sister.
Speaking of Dora, to see if that thing I mentioned yesterday is still active. If people missed that, on my main channel, yesterday I reviewed Legend of Zelda: Shadow's War, which is a gacha adaptation done by KW904, and I said that if that got 10 likes, that KW and I would collaborate on a Legend of Zelda and Dora the Explorer crossover, where Dora has to guide Link through some sort of, perilous quest, one of the ones that he ends up going on, but obviously in the classic Dora fashion. And I think that one they got to 7, even before we finished the stream. So yeah, 10 likes on that video on KW, the series and live channel, and that's going to happen. So there you go. Perfect chance to bring that up again. Not the line, "I'm the ghost of Christmas past," and as she sings it, I'm the ghost of Christmas past" is definitely the line. That's with Madonna, I think.
I forgot how much I missed her.
She died far too young.
She was the best.
And didn't she have a son?
That's correct.
And he lives in London.
Yes. His name is Fred.
Let's jump ahead. I'm
Big
the
reveal.
ghost,
So
I'm the
this
ghost
bit
of
is more
Christmas
interpretive.
past.
But the wording in the original is interesting because the ghost uses plural, sons, either that or children. To which Scrooge then responds, "One son," or one, and then says it's Fred. Now, because of the nature of how these spirits work later, the way I always pictured that, and this is where the interpretation bit comes in, I always pictured that as being a purposeful thing that the ghost got wrong to jog his memory of like, hey, remember this came from your sister. Remember the love attached to all that.
Yeah, well, remember that your nephew is your sister's son. I mean, people just seem to be forgetting how nephews work today for some reason.
In the past is in front of you. Even though you're done with the past isn't done with you.
Also love the dancer-sized dance. Oh, is that what it's called?
It's Fezziwigs. I used to work here.
I'm the boss, Mr. Fezziwig. Tonight no one works here, cause I got a round of shots, and it's business tradition to get twisted on Christmas. Drink up, they're delicious.
Everyone's so happy, but why?
The boss did a lot for
This
us.
wasn't very much to buy.
Not just what he bought for
What
us.
expression
He gave us
for her.
much more than that. He
That
made
way.
us have a blast. You don't understand it.
Something on your mind.
Bob Cratchit.
Scrooge watches guests arrive as they dance and they laugh. He feels less uptight.
How could I forget? This was the night we met.
Hey, care to dance?
I don't
Almost
think
hearts,
I
but you
will.
know, pink enough. Plays
Neither do
romance.
I. I'm Scrooge.
I'm back. And I'm the ghost of Christmas past. I've got only one more stop for you. You may know if you think back. You may know where we're going to. If you can't handle it, that's on you.
You can't handle being shown your most traumatic moments.
It was relevant. It's fine.
I mean, yeah, it's relevant. It's just like,
Scrooge and the
deal with it.
spirit find
It wasn't just any random. It wasn't like oh hey, let's go watch your dad beat you with a belt. You know, it's like, hey, let's take a look at your selfishness. I think that's fair
yeah,
enough.
like your own actions, of course, yeah. Because otherwise, yeah, there'll be no point showing him that again. Yeah, the shade of green they use for the lighting. Yeah, it makes a good contrast from stage blue, definitely. Not to say that this is a problem that they have, it's just a thing that theatre in general is they use that a lot. All the default colours in most
staring
lights.
at Belle and his young
This color is a very
self.
fun choice, and I don't know if they did this on purpose,
Dancing of
but
spirit, let's
them doing green during the bit where he's going to see how his like whole relationship fell apart, right? The fact that it's involving a relationship and the color is green, right? The color mistletoe is a fun bit of irony.
Hmm.
Because that's generally
You
the
know what
sign
else
of
is-
smooch, but in this scene, that is not what happens.
You know what else is a fun bit of irony? The Ghost of Christmas Past being dressed like a fitness expert, but also smoking. The 80s.
Well, again, you know, we're in an era where VHS tapes matter. That was healthy according to the ads and propaganda.
Yeah, because
All your
apparent-
friends were doing it.
Yeah, apparently it was like to reduce appetite. So I guess if you're trying to using dancer-sized videos, it's supposed to be the goal is usually to lose weight, right? So I'm guessing that goes hand in hand in their mind. I don't know, not in reality.
I don't know.
Yeah.
The cigarette stuff was all propaganda back then, anyways. Let's be honest. I mean,
Hmm.
I don't know that it really matters. I mean,
Well, I mean, it definitely mattered for sure.
oh, yeah, I'm sure it mattered to people who got lung cancer from television lies, but you know.
Yeah.
Hey, this is your past. It's all happened before.
at least
What
it's
are you
Ghost. Oh, there you go.
so worried for?
What are you showing me?
Now think about it. Yeah, that's a good point. She's a ghost. Why is she so... Maybe it's a reference to the fact that the Ghost of Christmas Past was meant to be a candle or something. Or like made out of fire.
What are you so afraid of feeling?
I just think we should be leaving.
She's speaking.
No, she's not. You got to give the music a moment to like.
I think her
transition,
being
of
a
course.
like a yoga thing is in itself an inspiration of like the whole fire aspect, right? Because you feel the burn.
Oh yeah, of course, yoga fire. Yeah, rap so hot I spit yoga fire. The classic epic rap battles line.
Feel the burn, ladies. Feel the burn.
Classic epic rap battles line that my brother once claimed was his own invention because he knew that none of us had seen epic rap battles at that point.
To explain, but just hear me out. Something has changed what you're all about.
Oh, Christmas was your favorite ghost. Interesting. I thought Christmas Present would have been everyone's favorites, but obviously we'll get to him later.
I have some thoughts on those ones, but I wanted to wait until we got there.
I think Prism means in this version, but yeah, also in the book. Oh, the petals are still, instead of flying around, they're like falling now. Because the love is dying. Yes. I'll admit, normally when I watch this, I tend to have my headphones on. I'm doing something else because there's only the songs. But I just listen to it mostly. I forget about the visuals. Like this, for example. Starkid and purple go so well together, apparently. Alright then.
That Scrooge was a boy, I was so young back then.
So you admit you've changed.
That's not what I meant.
Well,
I've never Starkid number I don't know the name of.
There's nothing wrong with being rich.
But rich shouldn't mean a personality switch. Your body and brain are here, but your heart is hid.
Have I ever implied I wanna break up?
It's in your eyes, it's in your touch, it's in your laugh, though you don't laugh as much. That's Scrooge, wore his heart on his sleeve. That's Scrooge.
They're falling like sparks on the ground.
That Scrooge sounds like make-believe.
Don't you see? That's Scrooge. He took my breath away, but that Scrooge isn't here today. 'Cause this Scrooge isn't the Scrooge who loved me.
Young Scrooge's scowl. Good grief.
Would you think that I'd still catch your eye?
Is that rhetorical?
Would you still on my way or pass me by?
This is hypothetical. If I met you today, how hard I would try to get you to stay and not say goodbye.
She can't hear it.
I know that spirit.
Yes, spirit. Pipe down.
We're coming near it.
You torture me. Is that fun for you?
My
Probably.
priority isn't to comfort you. There's more to see from this younger you.
You mean this dumber me? 'Cause this Scrooge is an idiot. He still has a chance, but he's missing it. This Scrooge
I'm giving back the ring.
doesn't know anything. This Scrooge,
You don't know what this cost.
this Scrooge, you don't know what you
That's gone to falsetto now.
lost.
'Cause this Scrooge is the Scrooge that loses me.
I'm not gonna cry.
This Scrooge is the Scrooge that turns into me.
That's another thing about Starkid. Yeah, harmonies and the color purple. Two things they do exceptionally well every time.
This is the Scrooge that says
This will bring to the camera, of course you did. Yeah, speaking of harmonies, I've got a fun story, mini anecdote about Team Starkid. At one point, when I was doing my acting through song module at university, that we had to each like bring in an example of a musical number that we really liked and set and like but in video form, because this was during COVID, so so we all had to pick something, and so I happened to pick The Night Belongs to Him from Team Starkid's Firebringer, which was my favorite Starkid thing at the time. I think the guy who didn't like musicals had probably not quite cemented in my mind just yet to equal that level. But yeah, but then people were like, what have you sent? What is this about? Because I guess like out of context, seeing like middle years Team Starkid with like what they were like back then was a bit of a tonal shift and everything. Yes, The Night Belongs to Snarl. Exactly. That was it. But the one positive thing that people had to say when they saw that number was the harmonies, because they really liked that. And yeah, I think that might be one of the reasons it's my favorite song in that musical. But again, we'll get to that when we eventually get around to Firebringer, which that's going to be a long time away, unfortunately, because we've got to get through Hatchetfield first and then go back to classic Starkid on top of Tinkerbell's. We'll work around to it. There's no need to milk this dry just yet. We've got time. Speaking of time, yeah, we're going to watch Firebringer. I'm going to show people all of them. Every single one.
And now he's back in his bed.
Yeah, I mean, we have all the time in the world. Kind of like Scrooge. Oh, wait.
Well, if he plays his cards right.
Remembering what Marley said and
There's Lauren one. There we go.
Next, but there's no one around.
Yeah, Twisted as well.
But a light is faintly glowing.
Twisted, Firebringer, and he chose Orange because I'm looking forward to the most.
Tiptoes across the floor. No clue what he's headed toward. Scared and unprepared for his next ghostly meet and greet.
As he's been introduced there, he's still already such a presence. So, the reason I say Ghost of Christmas Present is the favorite of a lot of people who watch this is...
Come a little closer. Don't worry, I won't eat you. I'm the ghost of
Xmas
Christmas
now, nice.
present. It's super nice to meet you. Something's in the air. Maybe you've been feeling it. It's sprinkled everywhere. I know 'cause I've been dealing it. Wanna know what I'm talking about? What I'm talking about? Follow me around the town. I'll show you how I get down.
I've seen this one, the VHS one too, and yeah, it's always weird seeing him like dance like this.
Christmas electricity, Christmas electricity, Christmas electricity, it's here. Christmas electricity,
Oh, they all do, yeah.
Christmas electricity, and my friend, it's up to me this year to spread it around. Christmas electricity.
See, okay.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
This
you want to
year,
talk about the adaptation, don't you now?
Yeah, and it's kind of difficult because there's a lot of stuff that comes into this that so far has only been implied. So it's like I don't know what exactly is the right moment. This year is interesting, right? Because it's implied. The way spirits are called in this book is really weird to me because it's not spirits in the way most people think, right? You could argue that the Ghost of Christmas Past could still be a dead person. Present and future, I have a much harder time saying that for, because
The implication is that if they were both dead people, then they would have been like had to go with like some sort of like job application in order to qualify for Ghost of Christmas Past, Present, and Yet to Come.
well, it's because yeah, but the thing is, they only refer to them as spirits, but that's also what Jacob Marley was. And yet, whenever we see the ghost of past, present, and yet to come, they are much more godlike, and they only get progressively more godlike as you see them.
I'm
Which
guessing that was
is-
probably, Charles Dickens trying to raise the stakes, or in the reader's mind, probably.
right, like Ghost of Christmas Present is like implied to be ancient, and like also he has like thousands of brothers, and he's like a giant, and it's weird. And they even implied it here, which is why I'm willing to kind of talk about it here. I'm probably gonna mention it later, but here where he's like, and I'm dealing it. He like controls certain aspects of nature as well. It's weird. Are these spirits or are they gods? Because I've been quite confused about that for a while now.
I don't think you're supposed to know. I think that's one of those things that's left up to interpretation. Because this is before wiki pages try to document everything. What is this type of beat called? Actually, what would you call the beat that's playing during Christmas Past part? I don't know what the specific. I guess, well, Dancer Size would have been was the thing that Green Jade said earlier for that one. Christmas electricity may be a synonym for a particular drug. That was also fairly popular in the 80s. Yeah, maybe. I never interpreted it that way, but I suppose he did say he's been dealing it, so I don't know.
That is what that's all the Christmas cheer is. It's just drugs. I've heard of High on Life, but this is a whole other level.
Well, I can no longer listen to this song the same way.
What is this electricity? It's like butter for the bread. It brings people together, working kinda like a magnet, spreading love and generosity with a little bit of magic. I'll spread it to the wealthy, and especially to the poor.
Please vote.
Why the poor especially? Because they need it more. You know that Christmas feeling, you feel all good inside. No. You know that Christmas season, it makes you feel alive. No. Or maybe you've never felt it, maybe you're a greedy dick. Yeah. Well, let me show you what it is.
That's the Cincy instruments, I'd say.
Christmas electricity.
Yes, Splendid Stints.
I was saying, I kind of like that line. Because, especially around the end, and I don't know if they're going to do this, because I don't think, because he didn't say the exact line, and that's kind of important. I'll mention it later, if he doesn't, But in the original story, the Ghost of Christmas Present does kind of have that, like, passive-aggressive vibe, especially towards the end. So I kind of like that. Just maybe.
Yeah, one of my favorite Christmas Carol quotes is "Are there no prisons? Are there no workhouses?" Which, of course, is like spat back at. That's
what I was about to mention if he didn't say it, but yeah.
Well, I mean, he did. Yeah. Well, in order for that to work, Scrooge would have to have said it like earlier. So
I know that's what I'm saying. Yeah. I didn't think he was gonna mention it, but yeah. That's another theme where they just repeat Scrooge's own words back at him pretty frequently.
I spread it to the workhouse. And I spread it to the jail.
This was such a good frame, by the way. Look at Scrooge's face.
Without fail. Yeah. Well, all the freeze frames we end up on are always ridiculous for some reason.
Oh, good.
Christmas.
I mean, he is starting like he's being electrocuted by literal Christmas electricity here.
Yeah.
Christmas electricity.
Oh, and he's gurning as well. I didn't notice that the first time. Now, like, I can't like separate this thing people have said in chat. Good grief.
And my friend, it's up to me this year to spread it around.
Okay, everyone gets their moment.
Such good choreography.
Yeah, that's why he's the favorite.
Christmas electricity. Christmas electricity. How about you? Christmas electricity.
Okay, Tolbert.
No one? Christmas electricity. Come on.
Come on, baby.
Christmas electricity.
Christmas electricity.
All right. Now let's all bring it back to Christmas electricity. Christmas electricity. It's all
I keep whacking my microphone. Dang it. Okay.
Come on, do it with us.
Again.
Christmas electricity. electricity, Christmas electricity. And my friend
Almost.
to me this year. Just spread it around. Christmas electricity. To the left, to the right, and up and down this town. Christmas electricity. That's what I said. Christmas electricity.
I always have fun with this one. It came out last year, and I've played it more times than most other Starkid musicals.
There's a party at his place. Unless you've something better to do, let's get a smile on that face.
Once you can't resist music,
So they go
it
to Fred's
happens.
thing. People eating, drinking, people laughing, dancing, and happy.
I got a tempo slightly different.
I invited him, and he got shot with him. What can I do? He's still me. Fred, my man,
Yeah, that's what I said before, Xmas Now. It's definitely done on purpose. Kidding.
Like the scum of the earth.
Well, Mama liked him and she was cool, so maybe he wasn't always cruel. Maybe he wasn't evil from birth. He doesn't want to hang, well, he's the one missing out. Cause we got a real cool gang, and you know it dishing out. Lots of Christmas electricity, electricity. That's my man. Electricity is here. Come on, everyone. Christmas
Well, okay, hold on. I don't know about that's my man. You literally have a magical like torch that you commit magical arson onto homes to fuel a fire of joy. I don't know if that's like my man. You're kind of imbuing them with that mood, you know?
I think maybe in the Fred doesn't need a fire of joy. He just has it naturally. You know, that's why he's his man, because he's doing this God's work. I think that's what I do. Part of the thing that goes with that. Oh yeah. Don't vibrate one of the things with the wonky wig. Wait, actually, okay. I just mentioned the wonky wig again because that was part of the thing I showed in the Night Belongs to Snarl when I showed that to the people. They mentioned the wig that the character Smelly Balls has.
I like you say that like you're talking to a village. Yeah, whenever I showed this to the people.
Yes, I communicated it to my fellow humans. Anyway, yeah, yeah. They mentioned the fact that Smelly Balls' wig was extremely wonky and like all like disheveled and such, and like it looked very obviously cheap. Most likely because it actually was. And I just realized that that Jamie 2 here kind of seems to have the same wig. I wonder if they reused it. If we're talking about costume and wardrobe here, I have to wonder. And yes, he is Lord, Duck is Lord, he is Lord, 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 Duck is Lord. Everybody, he is Lord. We'll get there. I promise. Subscribe to know when that happens. Even dancers like him. Has he seen his uncle dance? Maybe. More accurate imitation than he knows.
Oh, you know what I just realized actually, and I should have mentioned this actually with Ghost of with the Past. I wish they, this is hard, I guess, in a live audience, but I wish they showed like the shape-shifting ability of it. I'm just saying, the description is so freaky in the book, and it only just occurred to me. Like, it turns into, like, a weird spider creature at one point. Like, he has, like, a bunch of, like, legs, and he's, like, moving around. It's like, you know.
I can picture the exact way that Team Starkid would pull that off. They would just, like, have the actors start going, like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Just, like, put, like, a different hat on or something, or, like, a mask or something. I'm changing!
Yeah. Well, because
they have done that before.
Because in the story, they just describe how it's like, you know, a normal body, and then it's like no face, and then it's like no arms, and then it's like 2 legs, then 1 leg, then 9 legs, and it's like it's such a fun concept. It's like I wish we got some of that. It's one of those things where it's like that's part of why some of the story is more like a Halloween story than a Christmas story at times. Because some bits like that are just so horrific to read. It's like, what?
There's a review, Team Starkid. More shape-shifting next time. Just let Jamie shapeshift. But which Jamie? Because apparently there's two that play the ghosts. Wait, I just realized. Yeah, it's Jamie, James, and Jamie. Maybe they did that deliberately. I'm not sure.
I wonder if they're all like, because the Christmas present, and I don't know. He didn't mention the brother thing in this, did he?
Did he?
So in the original story, because he's like, "Have you ever met my brothers?" And Scrooge is like, "No, do you have many?" He's like, "Yeah, like 1,082 or something like that." And Scrooge is like, "Oh, that's a lot."
I feel like that would have probably taken away from that. Like, have you met my brothers? I have 1,082.
But no, I mean maybe
no others.
Well,
What
I
a
mean,
shame, I thought you knew.
because it's like maybe the three like time periods that we see here, if they're all in like the same name, maybe they're all like they're like 3 of the 1,082, or I guess 83 if you count the present.
Christmas past is Jamie spelled out. Oh, interesting. Because the Spanish speaking, I was with that as Jaime. Let me just check that actually.
That does look like Jamie to me, yeah.
Oh no, yeah. Well, yeah, of course, I guess, because if you probably haven't met as many Jaimes as I have.
I haven't, you're so right.
And yeah, I looked it up. Jaime Lyn Beatty is definitely spelled like that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not privileged to be in a town with that sort of diversity.
Oh yeah, that's right, Texas.
Christmas electricity. Whatever that stuff just did to me, I want more.
Yeah, I bet you do.
But now I
Good
see
grief.
you taking me to some random family that I've never seen, but they seem pretty poor. Hey, Fred's party was fun, but this seems kinda not.
Again, I guess another interpretation is this now them like coming down from it, and that's why the beat's slower. I really hope not.
Though you don't seem to see it, it's the same. It brought together this family, just like it brought you to me. So chill out, and you'll soon see why we came.
I can see some more.
Something smells great.
Kids, can you set things out for supper?
Should Dad get a plate?
He'll be home soon with your brother.
Oh yeah, light up shoes.
Delicious! I can't wait to have it.
Hi kids, Merry Christmas! Cratchit.
You know what you're getting for Christmas this year, apparently.
Our tiny Tim is getting heavier.
At church I prayed that someday I'd be getting healthier.
We're praying too, darling.
Yes, the pudding I can't reach.
Is anyone else starving?
Like I said, casting a tall person to play Tiny Tim. Once again,
I will say it's
good old not caring.
his arms were fine in the book. I don't know, his arms were perfectly fine. Legs are not.
Let me make a speech.
You're not sure that was anything. I bet this is set in the 90s. Maybe. I've been saying 80s this whole time because that's what Starker seems to usually go for. Maybe it was the 90s the whole time. Maybe I've been living a lie for the past year. Oh no.
I don't know about fancy things. I don't know about luxury. But tonight I feel like a king, surrounded by the royal family.
These two were so natural as couples together. People like have questioned whether or not they're a couple in real life. I've heard different things from different sources. It's just one of those things.
And I'm grateful for home.
I'm grateful for this great cooking.
I'm grateful for Mom. I'm grateful you're all so kind.
I'm grateful for dessert.
Here, Dad, try some of the pudding.
There you go. He can lift pudding. His arms are fine. There you go. He's okay.
So good it's blowing my mind. Being with you, being together.
Yeah, I heard they were getting married, but like in a smosh pit joke, so I wasn't sure. Because again, lots of people have said lots of things.
Never buy this feeling that's inside us. It's priceless, priceless, priceless.
I'm grateful to have a family to do things for me when I cannot. Grateful for all of humanity.
That's like a quote.
Grateful I don't have what Tim has got. And finally a toast to my boss, Mr. Scrooge.
Don't make me throw up. Scrooge is Satan in disguise.
Honey, he paid for this meal.
That was kind of her implication, you know. I don't know about
mean,
Satan
yeah.
by name, but she kind of hated him, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll toast my hope that he dies.
Being with you, being
And Joe was like, "Oh, come on, still dancing."
simple, the measure is priceless. Even a king, even a queen.
It's my most mellow song.
By this feeling that's inside
It doesn't like
us,
losing the entire energy, which is great.
priceless, priceless. So
Oh,
many
that I hadn't heard.
mouths to feed. I never knew. You never asked. That Tiny Tim kid needs help indeed.
And yes, Tiny Tim.
Oh, I just realized this. They should have made actual pudding. Or prop. Because the pudding's a little bit important to the actual thing. Because in the story, they make a note that the pudding is small and not really enough for the whole family.
I mean,
But
Tiny
everyone is
Tim
grateful
lifted it up
for
in
it.
one hand.
You can fit a lot. Have you seen like the pudding jar? I'm not buying that. I'm not letting that slide. No. I've seen like those big old glasses. You can fit a lot of pudding in that. No.
My
I-
arms are frail and about to break. That's how
No.
you know that the pudding's light.
But no,
It's
it's
all that the people could bake.
yeah, no, it's very much like, hey, that's that's not
Well,
enough
it's not
pudding
gonna
for
feel
the
just right.
family, and it's like, yeah, but they're all grateful for what they have, and they even make a
Yeah.
point like because his wife is anxious because she's the one who homemade the pudding, and so whenever she even contemplating not bringing it out at all because it was like there's so many people that if I come out there with this tiny bit, will they not feel happy enough? And yet she brings it out, and everyone's like, "Oh, this is the greatest thing I've ever tasted. Thank you so much." Yada yada. So, showing the size of the pudding is pretty important to that message, I think.
Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, they would have had to have like had Mrs. Cratchit enter after the kids rather than like have them all come in at the same time for that to work, I
Yeah.
suppose. But yeah,
We may not have a lot, but there's lots of love among us. Tim may
See?
be
Among Us
tiny,
musical.
but
That
it's
honestly
always
should be a thing.
among us. We
I
may
don't
be
like
poor,
Among Us.
sir,
I still think that should be a
but this
musical.
soil is rich. Just listen to this key change out of the bridge. Being
nice small break, of course.
being together is a treasure impossible.
I said this earlier. It should be a musical. I told you. Sure, why not? I know nothing about the game apart from what I've seen in other song numbers that people have made.
Seen people all around all singing out. Priceless, 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 priceless.
I will ice right that with you, by the way, Chris, if you want to.
I don't feel so good.
All right, Spider-Man. Something's maybe changed to say non-Victorian times. Ah, yes, pudding sizes were much smaller back then. You're right.
Spirit, tell me, will Tiny Tim live? He looks so frail today. What do you care?
tradition.
You've got nothing to give. At least that's what you say. Weren't you just asked to give to the poor? Yet you felt harassed and kicked them out the door.
I get the point, but I will say I don't know how great that is. Like, why do you care? You have nothing to give. I'm just saying, like, you can care quite a bit and not have the money for a charity. I get he does. I get that's not the case in Scrooge's position, but I don't know how great that line is.
Oh, there you go. Apparently it's a model off of actual people. Okay, there we go. Like, specifically, I thought it was like, could have been like an amalgamation of several, but okay, there we go. So they have like actual tangible references then. Okay, good to know. Thank you, Koala Arm, and also, or Koala Arm, I should say. And welcome to the stream.
No, spirit, that's not what. Humbug!
Yeah, it's not as powerful a callback when it's just bar humbug again, is it? Gotta have the prisons and workhouses.
Before Scrooge can respond, the ghost has disappeared, and a shadowy figure from beyond is slowly coming.
Not as much of an intro this time, but don't need it.
It's not like he ever speaks.
Yeah, I was wondering how they were gonna do this with the, not being able to have the ghost sing.
The ghost of Christmas future.
Slash yet to come, we talked about that earlier.
Please tell me the choreography is like sign language.
Don't know why I just
That'd be so cool for someone who can't speak.
But I shouldn't make assumptions.
Yeah, but the problem is also they won't be able to hear the mute. I see, wait, no, you're saying just not speak, not audio to hear. Okay.
Didn't tell me much. Definitely was spooky. That's fine, you don't have to speak. Just show me the future you see. Hey, I know those guys ahead, rich and respected businessmen. Wonder what they're talking about. Guess you're taking me there to find out.
Yeah, see, I think it might be Smelly Balls' wig.
Don't know if I'm gonna go. Anyone wanna go?
I don't know. Not me. He wasn't really my friend.
I don't think he had friends. Shame he
That's
left
in
behind
school.
so much money. Hey, I'll go if there's a lunch. What? I'm getting hungry.
Funny.
Not a tear shed or kind word said. Too bad for the guy who's dead. But spirit, I don't see how this relates to me.
Scrooge would be terrible at writing gotchas. You gotta add foreshadowing.
Well, I mean, he's like this in the book too. He's kind of stupid at this bit, where he's they show him such clear things that even if you don't know what the answer is, I think you can figure it out pretty quickly. And he just has no clue.
Yeah, wow, and this guy who has apparently just died of natural causes with immense wealth. How could this relate to me, a rich senior citizen from years before this happens?
I see you've taken me.
And not to mention the fact that I am the central theme to literally all of this.
Where am I? I don't know.
Where I should be talking about this dead guy.
Yeah.
It was always too poor and gritty. I see three people dressed in rags, taking some nice things out of bags. As if taking
Smelly Balls is the ghost.
inventory. Spirit, what's the
I
story?
mean, he did it in prehistoric times.
I got his sheets. I got his shirt.
I got his.
Honestly, the ghost is more likely to be Chorn. To be fair, I mean, once again, not much in the way of speaking.
Silverware.
Nice. Maybe if he wasn't such a jerk, I might actually care.
Hey, those spoons look like they come from my house. Wow, that dead guy must have shot to the same place as me. Anyways, where am I in this reality?
That's okay. Just wait till we get to the shirt bit.
Chorns and Smelly Balls as child. Oh, I guess Tiblin didn't get her wish after all. Oh well then.
No
no one by his side. When he died, someone could have stopped us, but no one tried.
Maybe
They
it
had
would have
to
been
put a bit of it,
wiser
yeah.
to be nicer and not such a greedy miser.
I've seen enough. They're stealing
grief, the
stuff
largest
from
starkid
the guy who
multiverse.
died. That's pretty rough, but
Like
Spirit,
Hatchetfield wasn't
I
bad enough
don't
already.
see how this relates to me.
Translation: You're an idiot.
Anyone express any emotion from this death?
Honey, you'll never guess. You know how we're massively in debt.
Yes.
Well, the old man just dropped dead.
No way.
Yes, way.
I feel like I can breathe again. I can't believe our luck. Is it bad that I feel happy?
No, he truly sucked.
Okay, that technically counts.
Hey, Spirit, funny joke, but that's not what I meant. Is there anyone who can express for any death some
Ruffle.
tenderness?
Yeah. Fair.
I'm grateful for this Christmas feast. Just the kind tiny Tim would
The
enjoy.
shirt thing happened before this, right?
The shawl thing.
In the book, the shirt.
Oh, the shirt thing. I'm not sure. I don't know that part. What do you...
So in the book, and I think it should have happened by now. In the book, it's pretty clearly expressed that whenever they were like bargaining for like all the clothes and like stuff that belonged to Scrooge, they like nabbed. One of it was a shirt that they took all of it off of his dead body to sell.
Just
And-
go inside the house to like get to his drawers or something. My goodness.
Yeah, no, they took the shirt right off of his dead chest to sell to the people, and you know, is like, hey, this is like the probably the warmest he's ever been, yada yada, right? And it's like, and in the book, that's the thing that really shakes Scrooge, where he's like legitimately terrified in that bit, where he's like, okay, hold on a second, I actually draw a line here. Wait, what do you mean you took a shirt off of a dead man's body?
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, I wonder if they would able to fit that in just to this. Probably, actually. That one I can see.
only wish he were here to see. Forgive me. How I just miss my boy.
And yes, I remember that. These are all my husbands and wives.
He lives in our hearts and our memory. We'll never forget him, no way, no how.
If only Scrooge had raised your salary.
Oh my goodness, wow. Tiny Tim got rich over the years, and then still died, and had his shirt taken away. It's all coming together now, Spirit.
No, amazingly, it doesn't. He sees his, you know, we'll get to that later, I'm sure. We'll get to it.
Tell me who is that dead man from before?
Looped in that way.
Now you're just trying to scare me.
Man, if you read the source material, they all tried doing that. One turned into a humanoid spider in front of you.
Now you're pointing to
He just
a
didn't,
grave.
No, I mean, he was terrified of these things in books.
There you go. That's the gravestone.
It's not too late. I'm a different man now.
I was going to sing the entire book.
Okay, so we are
Ooh.
skipping that bit. Okay. So we're skipping a little bit here. Before he sees the grave, she takes some. I say she, of course. I mean, it's really an it. It's more like a Grim Reaper figure, but like, you
Much
know,
like John. Yeah.
yeah. They take him to a bed, which has the dead man's body, except it's like the cover is over his face and stuff, right? And so the Ghost of Christmas Yet to Come is pointing at it, because that's like most of what it does. It just points at things and it's like, go there. And Scrooge just kind of gets the point.
Yeah.
That point. But anyways, he's like, no, I'm terrified. I don't want to do it. But a lot of the implication is like he's just scared out of principle. He does not register. He's in his own home with his own body. It isn't until later that they make it to this gravestone that then it makes sense. So whenever earlier you're like, oh, now it makes sense. No, it doesn't. In fact, he sees his own body in his own bed in his own home, and he still does not get it.
He probably thought it was asleep or something.
Like, he does not understand any of this.
Scrooge, please just give me this a sign. Ghost of Christmas. Oh, wait, hold on. I clicked the wrong comment. Here you go. I mean, I think actually the first ever version of Christmas Carol I saw was a play that was done in English in Spain. And yeah, like I remember the Ghost of Christmas is yet to come being like very weird there because it appears right at the beginning to kickstart this because it's being like into like a flashback. It's a bit of it was a show for kids, so it was like, okay, let's tell you the story and we'll go back. This is where it all started now. Ebenezer Scrooge, like that kind of thing. But also like the Ghost of Christmas Future, like paces down the aisle to ominous music, sheds its coat, and then has like these like there's this like silvery tassel or something that starts like dancing, and then it's like and then also I think during this time, like it still can't talk, so yeah, I think it did get frustrated during that time. That was actually, fun fact, my first ever review of anything. Yeah,
No,
it's on Madrid Madness at one point. Apparently, I gave it such a good review. People in my class checked it out for themselves.
Yeah, I'll say this version of Scrooge is a lot less scared than the actual book version of all this because he was terrified of all of them, and he even mentions whenever he sees the future version for the first time. This is like as soon as the Christmas present dies. By the way, yeah, in this they say he disappeared. No, he literally withers away.
Oh yeah, I've seen.
But
I saw the Hobbit version.
Yeah, because Scrooge is that's right. Because the Christmas present starts aging, and Scrooge is like, our spirit's lives so short, and the spirit's like, yes, mine ends tonight, or whenever the clock hits, whatever it did. And
don't worry, I've got 1,082 other people waiting to take my place. We'll be fine for a while.
And upon his death came the spirit of Christmas yet to come. And Scrooge even says, despite him being afraid of all the other ones, says, I fear you most of all, but I know what your message means must be good, so I will follow you anyways.
I mean, he says that like he had much of a choice anyway. Like he just like stay there, and the spirit would just. Well,
it's because in the story they kind of like, and they do this in a lot of the adaptations. It's one of the aspects I actually don't like a ton about Scrooge is that they kind of speedrun his character arc because they fit it in between those three spirits. But he very quickly starts to figure out, okay, even if this is terrifying or traumatizing or kind of just therapy, I still will do it, right? Because I think it's better for my betterment, right?
Either that or just to honor the request of his dead friend, maybe. There's one thing I don't like about the end of the Christmas Cowboy gets animated. Oh, this one coming up now is your favorite, you mean?
Okay, they skip past that. Okay. Again, a key detail here that also gets overlooked in some of the adaptations that is crucial to his character arc and finishes it. It is really annoying that, like, I can forgive whenever they like completely butcher like Marley's character and make him as bad as Scrooge, right? What I don't like is this ending where they skip past his begging. And they do this in some adaptations, but in the book, they make a point that he's like, hey, say something. I know this is me at this point. And I think his line specifically is this the future of what will be or the future of what may be? Where it's like, if I change my ways right now, can I avoid what you are showing me? Right? And so that's the entire reason he wakes up, and here in a second, he's going to be like, I'm going to be a better man. Because what he believes is if he's a better man, because I forget what sign the spirit gave him, but the sign seemed to be an implication of like, yes. Right? He believes if he's better, then, he will earn a better fate, right? That no one will feel this kind of joy upon his death, right? That people won't forget or steal off of him. And that, like, he gets a family again, and, So them skipping the begging is a bit annoying.
Okay, actually that does tie into, I only heard, like, the tail of that because I just got disconnected. But, yeah, the thing that I always thought they took issue with the ending of A Critical was the fact that the previous two spirits kind of show him, this is like what you did to yourself when you became the way that you were. You thought about the things that made you happy. You neglected them, and therefore you lost all of them. Apart from your sister's death, that was a canon event. That was Miguel O'Hara doing his thing.
It had to happen.
Yeah. So apart from that, but then Christmas Present shows him, I see. It was in the contrast, because the contrast be like, himself at Fezziwig's, and how Fezziwig was a great boss and all that stuff. And then it shows like, okay, these are people that are around now. These ones you actually can make amends with. And then like the part again, right, because like my favorite line, no prison's not in a workhouse, is because he shows the two like child spirits of like ignorance and want, I think it was. And
it was. That's right.
Can I help them? Can I do anything to help them? Then he goes like, are there no prisons? Are there no workhouses?
Yeah, it's because it's either, I think it's Present, where Scrooge sees like a hand creeping from underneath his like robe, and is like, is that a claw? And he's like scared or something, and he's like, is that a hand? And the ghost of Christmas Present is like, it might be, I don't know. And he releases these two children, and the Scrooge is like, are these yours? And he's like, no, these are the children of man, ignorance and want. And then they say, I think ignorance says, are there no prisons? And then want says, are there no workhouses?
Are there no workhouses? Okay. Yeah, because the versions I've seen, like, it's always Present who says that. Ignorance and want just kind of stay silent. But okay, either way, it still works. Point is, like, after that, is he's realizing, I think the Christmas Present also says like a couple of things back to Scrooge that
he does.
Like,
yeah, the source material version of him says it's if he's going to die, he better do it and decrease the surplus population.
Yeah. Again, point is, he has that rebuked him a bunch of times because he's realizing now that his position didn't make sense. That position was terrible, because he's now seeing like from the perspective of the people that don't have as much as him, haven't been as fortunate. So that feels to me like it almost could have been a complete character arc right there. Almost like the Ghost of Christmas Yet to Come was not actually needed at all. But on top of that, also that what sets Scrooge apart was once again going back from thinking about others to about himself again, about his own reputation, how people seem to perceive him when he's dead, or the fact that he sees him as his own grave and everything. It's like, why is that the moment that snaps him out? It should have been the moment before that, but we need like the extra spirit on top of everything else to tie that back in, because that like took away from it.
It's because the other spirits were showing what he did wrong, but the Ghost of Christmas Yet to Come shows the inevitable consequences of what he's done wrong, right? Because he's done these things wrong, and they have immediate consequences.
Yeah, but the question is, does he need to see the consequences? I mean, if he realizes what he has done is wrong, then
He didn't even realize they were talking about him. So apparently, yes.
I mean, don't know. I feel like it would have worked just as well if not better if he does things to make things right just because these things are right. That would make more sense than just like, oh, by the way, readers reading this book, if you end up like Scrooge, don't do this thing just because it's the kind of thing a good person would do. Do it because otherwise people will take the shirts off of your rotting corpse. Like,
Yeah.
You see the difference?
I do.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of it is because he's very earthly, and that's one of the many different biblical or even just religious in general aspects to it, right? Like even Tiny Tim, they cut this bit where he's like, God bless us all, right? And he's like, I want people to see my body, and I want them to know that I'm crippled, and I want them to see me so that they may remember who made blind men see and lame beggars walk. There's a lot of religious theme, and so that's one of those things where because he's so earthly, that is a bad thing. In a lot
of religions, they do put a lot of focus on what will happen to you if you aren't a good person, or if you don't follow the rules that they set out and they deem as good, as the case of a lot of religions. But I can see where that comes from. It's like,
it's not just that, but
applies to you directly.
Well, it's not just that, but in Christianity specifically, they make a big thing about you can't take anything with you, and that earthly means mean absolutely nothing. Like at one point, I think they even try bribing or paying off Jesus, and he's like, nothing you give me can be worth it, right? I don't require your money. And so with that context, showing him his more earthly values of popularity and fame and network and all that, showing that it all crumbles beneath him as soon as he's dead, and that no one likes him, and that everyone is a fragile piece for him, is important because it shows that he has not gotten him what he has.
Again, he probably could have realized that anyway from reliving having lost Belle, who literally left him because of those things that he pursued, and I guess also Mrs. Cratchit, who hates him for legitimate reasons, and he knows it.
Oh yeah, Cratchit hates his guts, man.
Yeah, so there were examples already. I mean, if you want to be amplified, then I suppose increase that page time a bit. I don't know. It's one of those things that's unfortunate for me that it ends up being phrased in that way, but oh well. Ultimately, most people don't really seem to mind that much. So, oh well.
I think a lot of it also came down to the outline being because there's the 3 time periods, they had to have a future.
Yeah, I guess what would be? I suppose. Oh, now that I think about it, yeah, the outcome would be. Oh, what if Scrooge had continued the way that he would? I mean, Tiny Tim, that part about Tiny Tim dying because if only Scrooge had raised your salary. I mean, obviously that's not necessarily a guarantee because we don't really know what medical condition he actually has, of whether that be even curable in Victorian times. But the implication is that if Scrooge was a better person, Tiny Tim would have lived, and so that part I can understand. So, maybe show Fred again, where he's, I mean, if anything, Fred probably depressed about his uncle's passing rather than Fred just gets ignored to serve the rhetoric that Christmas yet to come is trying to force down Scrooge's throats. But yeah, so I mean, those 2 examples there, the people that we've already kind of seen, and we already know that we're going to be negatively impacted if things continued. Maybe that would have also been. That would have probably helped out if he knew that he was dead from the beginning. It's oh, this is after my natural time has ended, because that happens. And I knew it was because the whole start of this was about me trying to save my soul. So clearly I knew it was coming. So okay, what's the impact here? Let's focus on that rather than, oh my golly gosh, it is a grave with my name on it. How can I fix this? Oh well.
Spirit, I think I've made a mistake.
My friend. Thank you, spirits. Thank you, Jacob.
2 words, my own name. I am a changed man now. Anyway.
Oh, Jake, I'd kiss you if I could. The night is over, knock on wood. It feels so effing good.
Yeah,
to
I don't know
feel
when
like
or how they did this costume change.
I feel like a baby
It
boy.
was
I've
cut or
never
something,
felt
I
so
don't know.
drunk with joy. I've never felt such joy to still have time. And Scrooge laughs the kind of laugh that can wash away years of sadness. A huge laugh.
No, I have not seen this version. I have no clue what you're talking about here. I was watching this in 2022.
An impressive laugh for someone so out of practice.
Thank you, Jacob.
Boy on the street.
Well, you're welcome.
Do what
Thank
you
you
want
too.
with me.
Please don't run away. Just tell me what's today.
What's today? Why, it's Christmas Day. Christmas Day.
For heaven's sake, it's Christmas Day.
I'm actually not sure if this was part of the original VHS and they like asked people to take part in this. Because that's why I seem to think this might have been somebody who was, because I can't make out who that is. So clearly, so it could be anyone. But I'm thinking like, oh, maybe they sent out a call or something. It's like, oh yeah, you could be one of the people in here if you do this, that, and the other. Help with our Kickstarter. Which, by the way, I help with your Kickstarter. Where's my cameo in VHS Christmas Carol? I'm kidding.
Christmas Day, I'm not too late. Hey, here's some cash. Run to the shop and buy the best looking turkey they got. The biggest and the fattest. And send it to Bob Cratchit.
I can carry that. It's freaking huge.
Good point. Here's more cash to cabbage. Just don't say that it's from Scrooge. Let's make Bob's Day on Christmas Day.
Hey, I mean, if they'll have me,
Yeah.
Scrooge is shaving,
they do British characters all
but
the
he can't
time.
stop shaking. He cuts his face in 80 places.
Oh, that's a good point. Did they ever mention the goose detail in the in Cratchit's home?
I don't remember a goose ever being brought up there, so no.
So yeah, that's the reason he gets the turkey, because the turkey was considered more luxurious than a goose, but because Cratchit's family was so poor, they could only afford a goose for the family. And so whenever Scrooge sees the kid running by, there's like a prize turkey at some place, and he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna give you this money. Go buy." Well, actually, I don't think he even gave him money. I don't know what the kid bought it with, to be honest. But regardless, he's like, "Hey, go buy this. You come back in a quick manner. If you come back, I'll give you money. If you come back even quicker, I'll give you even more money." And so he grabs like a prize turkey and he comes up to the house, and I think that's what we're about to see.
I wanted to,
But the turkey specifically is
Would feed
important.
the Cratchits more. Yeah, it's weird because I'm pretty sure geese are larger than turkeys. But yeah, I wonder if that is what like. Has anyone like done a study on like how popular turkey was as a Christmas dish before and after Christmas Carol came out? Because there might actually be a correlation there. But I don't know.
He's too excited, running outside to see neighbors' faces.
Shouting Merry Christmas to everyone and getting some funny looks from some when just by chance he sees the donation man.
My good sir, hope I'm not too late. Sorry I wasn't in great yesterday, but I want to donate today if I still can.
And Scrooge
there's still 4 people,
gives
so,
such
yeah.
a massive gift. It includes years and
They make a
years
joke about
of
that in the Disney version.
A huge gift, such a generous gift that it very nearly
I could see him
makes
done
some
like that in a bunch of versions.
Thank you, sir. Please visit me.
Will do, Scrooge, certainly.
So happy to have met you, but I must run now to my nephews for Christmas Day. Christmas Day! There's a party at his place, so I can't delay.
That's another question I always had. Does Fred just do 2 parties? Is that how it works?
No, it's the Christmas present is a little bit plot holy. He doesn't show that he shows them Christmas Day despite it being sooner than Christmas Day, and then he wakes up. That's why whenever he wakes up, he's like, "Oh wait, I haven't missed it? Well, I guess they're spirits. They can do whatever they want, can't they?" Which again, I ask, are they spirits or are they gods? But whatever.
I mean, Scrooge wouldn't know, so I suppose there's never really a concrete answer for that reason.
Yeah, but no, he.
Also,
This is the same.
Also, yeah,
this
make
is
it rain.
the,
Christmas Day, we'll make it rain on Christmas Day.
But yeah, this is the same party he saw earlier. It's just that this time he's actually shown up.
Okay. That's everything to do if it was the Christmas present again. Just like shower him in cash and Christmas electricity.
Christmas Day, Christmas Day. Okay.
Scrooge gets to Fred's place and stands outside the door. Suddenly much more nervous than before. When Fred
Yeah,
opens
this
the
is the result
door,
of the
Scrooge wants to run away, not sure what to say.
It's your Uncle Scrooge. I've been a fool.
Never mind, I'm
I
wrong.
don't
Whatever.
wanna live as a stranger.
Maybe they
to you.
skipped it or they're errors
To
later.
you
I don't remember.
forgive a dumb old man. Listen,
You really aren't that old, man. You look decent.
He's been rejuvenated by Christmas electricity.
Christmas electricity is here. I think you're right. Christmas electricity, Christmas electricity.
No, it's like this, remember?
Scrooge and Fred and everyone partying to the night. Scrooge never had so much fun in his entire life. Christmas electricity, Christmas electricity. The next morning, Scrooge hurries to get to work early. Christmas electricity. He hides the grin from his face when Pop comes in late. So let me get this straight.
This is it.
You
Okay.
skip work, then come in late. Why don't you just rob me, Bobby? Or I'll give you a raise.
Also, yes, this is very much like inevitable with song mashups.
A raise, Bob, I said a raise. Sir, are you okay? Never better. You're being crazy.
And everyone loves
No,
Glory
Bob,
here.
you're priceless.
And I am too, don't get me wrong, I'm just surprised.
I'll say they're a lot more on the nose about the raise thing in this than they were in the book. Because in the book, they never actually say, "Oh, if only we got a raise," right? We know about like his very cruel level of interest, right? Where it's like, whoopee, he's dead, we don't have more interest. But then there's also like the whole Tiny Tim thing where it's implied that like, hey, if somehow they get more money than they might have been able to do something, I guess for like equipment or something. They never actually explicitly say though, like, hey, they need a raise. It's only until the end whenever he's like, hey, I'm gonna give you a raise, and you just kind of know why.
That does actually give him a bit more of like an agency as a character, being like, oh, this is the solution I'm going to implement from now on. More posing when they get to their words.
So when you're stuck saying bug, when you're shutting life out, think of how this Scrooge turned things around.
Ah, my theme song.
I actually found out what humbug meant the other day.
It's a double screen.
What? Yeah, I didn't know what it meant until a few days ago, where someone in class was like, "Hey, what does that actually mean? Like, what does that word like mean dictionary wise?" And then we looked up and it was like, "Oh, it means like deception or lie." So,
Yeah.
so that's why he responds to that with every time someone says "Merry Christmas," because they're saying "Merry Christmas," he's saying, "Oh, that's just a bunch of bull."
Okay, so yeah, because there's actually a type of sweet called a humbug as well. And they make a joke of that in another Christmas Carol adaptation, the Blackadder Christmas Carol, where because that's a comedy series, the joke is that it's the complete opposite. So Scrooge starts off being extremely nice, and so like you hear him off from the side, you hear him going like, humbug, 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 Mr. Baldrick. And that's the opening introduction. Then you realize like, oh, so it's immediately wrong. And then you actually get one ghost throughout that entire time, played by Robbie Coltrane, actually. And he like gets more and more exasperated. It's like, this is the versions of Blackadder across all of the years. And of course, because Blackadder, the TV show, is all about the versions of Blackadder being, being miserable and tormented and never fully like appreciated. They always have to like use underhanded tactics to get what they want and stuff. The Scrooge version suddenly is like, well, what am I bothering here with? I'm going to turn out to be like one of them. And the ghost was like, no, you're not supposed to turn out like this. I made a mistake coming here. It's like, well, yeah, but you showed me the stuff anyway. Yeah, because you asked me to. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's another great.
No, it's pretty much just an equivalent to him shouting the word lies, like Merry Christmas, lies.
Fake news, like I said before.
Yeah. A little bit childish whenever you put into modern words, but whatever.
Yeah. Dylan plays a great villain turned good. Dylan is a gem. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, Dylan's one of my favorite Starkid members. Not quite the level of Jeff Blim, but close. I can't figure out the timing. Oh, probably not.
That's a very cute dress, by the way. The red one.
Yeah. It's pieces like, that if you're like missing certain members, you always Jamie K goes, there we go. You see the starting now. When you miss particular cast members, you're still having such a good time anyway. There we go. Alec Gordon is perfect. Oh, there we go. There was someone different. Yeah, great musical. Absolutely. So yeah, that one just kind of surprised me because I remembered I contributed to the Kickstarter, like I said, but I forgot what they were actually planning because they mentioned what they were going to do, and then it's like, okay, fine. Well, I backed up anyway because I want more Starkid stuff in general. I want them to still keep going. I want them to close down because of what's happening in the world, and then completely forgot about it. And then suddenly it's like, oh, notification from Team Starkid at VHS Christmas Carol Live. Oh, this just came out. I better check this out. And then, yeah, there we go. That was a nice surprise on top of the other Christmas Carol stuff I was watching last year, which seems to be a lot of that stuff going on. But Christmas Carol for me was like a big thing in 2022. I don't know why. There you go. The three J's, the three J's echo the Ghost were both of my favorites. Ghost of Christmas Beach and Ghost of Christmas Past being my favorites.
God dang it! Now I can't help but picture James Jonah Jameson doing all this.
Honest question: can J.K. Simmons sing? I've never heard him sing before. Maybe.
Has he ever been in a musical?
Not sure.
I know a lot of older actors would frequently go into classical theater before.
Well, they're frequently trained in classical theater before they ended up doing.
Yeah, he was on Broadway and stuff. Okay. I know that. Yeah, it's not as common nowadays, but back in the day, that was a pretty common pipeline. Let's see, Guys and Dolls.
Oh yeah,
yep,
I have a
he's
collection.
been in a musical.
I have a collection of
Yeah,
of-
he's saying multiple roles actually. Okay.
yeah. I have a collection of the BBC did a collection in 1978 of every single Shakespeare play, and you get to see like a bunch of the well-known like older British actors in the 70s doing their Shakespeare stuff because that's what they were trained in at the time. So yeah.
Yeah,
Did quite a few of those.
he played Benny Southstreet in a musical called Guys and Dolls. Then in
Oh, okay.
'94 he sang multiple roles in a opera satire called Das Barbecue.
Oops.
Let's see, is this a musical?
I don't know.
No idea.
But you made the point. You've had two.
Yeah,
very
he was
good
in
examples.
Carousel. Yeah, so he has a musical history.
All right then. I guess I'll have to track down some clips if they exist. Fair enough. I think they made other VHS musicals. This is the only one on YouTube. I haven't heard of any others. I'll have to look at their Kickstarter page again. Maybe I have access to some of them I just never knew. But even if that were the case, I wouldn't like put the one here because at the point of them doing stuff for behind the paywalls, not have it. Like if they want to make it available, they already would have done. So kind of like doing a reaction to that could feel like cheating in that instance. So yeah, that's why I picked the live version of this one. But I still think, even though I've seen like some of the clips from the VHS one, I do actually think the live version sits better with me. I mean, even with some of the VHS visuals, they don't exactly they don't like, from what I remember, recreate the stuff that's like being shown to Scrooge in the moment. It's mostly just the same, like the classical backgrounds you would sort of get in that kind of medium. But yeah, I personally give this 5 out of 5 gold stars. That's just my opinion after seeing this for the first time. You guys may have different thoughts. I mean, like I said, this is one of the things that I like replayed a lot after it came out last year. Just whenever I'm having to do stuff like that, like I'm preparing dinner after streams. I did play VHS Christmas Carol live a couple of times and such. I listened to it back in November too.
I'm giving this a 3 out of 5.
Not barbecue monologues. That's a different thing. My barbecue.
Why is everyone so excited about that one mention of Das Barbecue?
And they're not. It's because Team Starkid did a thing called barbecue monologues.
Oh, okay.
That's what they're referring to.
No, I'm giving this one a 3 out of 5 though. It's not bad on its own, but because I know the source material, it's not as good. It kind of comes to the same level as a lot of other source material does, where they get the core beats right. They of course have the required ghosts of like past, present, yet to come, right? They have some of the moments of him like going to certain clips of history, right? They have more than some adaptations do, but it's still not even all of them, which is a bit annoying. The musical itself, right, is like the songs great. But I do wish they stuck a little bit closer, because like the echoing his words back, the horror elements to it, the divine elements of it are all quite fun for me. Which is weird actually, because we talk about the divine elements a lot in the Hatchetfield musicals, but they completely neglect them in this one. Which is an interesting problem to have.
If you want a lot of God references, we'll get to Trail to Oregon at some point, and the chat knows what I'm referring to.
Yeah. Well, it's just because godly and divine elements are so important to the original text, and not even necessarily in a Christian sense. I mean, a lot of it leans into a Christian sense, but a lot of it is just in a general standpoint. Also, there's one segment here that gets cut out of all adaptations, including this one, that I'm quite glad actually got cut out. There's a moment in the book where so we were reading it, right? And I'm like, man, for such an old book, this sure did age well, didn't it? And then we got to the bit where it was, I want to say it was in Cratchit's house, where we see like, I don't know, it's in one of the houses. I don't know, it's necessarily Cratchit, but it doesn't matter, right? You have like a daughter, and then you have a bunch of sons, and you very quickly see their description of women a little bit interesting. You know, it's some mildly uncomfortable descriptions, and made even worse when they describe one of the kids sexually harassing her. It's not great.
I thought we were going to talk about that part like with the furnaces or something, but I forgot what this
No,
that was.
Yeah, no, there's like a segment where like one of the kids is just like chasing her down. It's like, what are you doing? Like chasing this like girl down and like cornering her, and they describe very clearly he's into her, and she wants no part of this, and she's like running away, and it's like, ooh, there's the 1800s coming out.
Yeah, I was going to say, because when you said chasing around, I was thinking like they're probably playing tag or something, but yeah, no, that sounds like.
Yeah, their descriptions of the girl is quite disturbing as well. It's not amazing. It doesn't age so well. It's one of those things that most people probably read the original and are like, you know, maybe whenever we make our adaptation, we don't put that bit in.
Yeah, I mean, there are 100 like known versions out there, probably way more. So who knows? It probably statistically is going to be in one of those, but none that I've seen, fortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah. The most I've seen with the most creative thing I've seen with the Cratchit actually was at one point they were like played by one person in a pantomime I saw one year. Once again, going back to diff hats
Really?
and having like the arguments there between all of them. I think it's because I had a very limited cast.
You know, despite it being very sad, I do remember really liking the Little Match Girl story. So I'm slightly tempted to see how much a book of the story is. I don't know what that story is. Little Match Girl?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure there's a book version of it. Oh, sure, by Denny Shaw. Yeah, I was gonna say, I think was it Hans Christian Andersen? I'm not sure. I think it might be actually.
Oh yeah,
Well,
yeah. Just found it. It's a fairy tale by Hans Christian. Yeah.
Yeah, my Google autocomplete said a Little Match Girl musical by Hans Christian Andersen. That's I don't remember that being.
No, I found a short story, not short story. I found a fairy tale.
The Little Match Girl Strikes Back, book by Emma Carroll.
Oh my god.
A beautiful, told and thoroughly well-researched story set in Victorian London. Birdie's mother wants to know putting us in a match factory whilst, and then it cuts off. Oh my goodness. Originally published 15th September 2022. This just happened. Did the copyright run out last year or something?
I don't think the fairy tale ever had a copyright.
I don't think it had yeah, because it was like beforehand.
Before copyright laws existed.
Yeah. You get these a lot. It's like with Love Never Dies as well. Yeah. What Emma Carroll, author, once told by poet Ted Hughes her writing was dangerous.
Oh, that's not a good compliment. That's not a compliment as a writer. You don't want your story to be considered dangerous.
Yeah.
Because there is a thing called dangerous storytelling. You know? It's like,
There certainly is. I think it's called Dead Dove, Don't Eat, or something like that. All right, let's ride that musical. Yeah, our musical was that was the Among Us one. That was the important thing. Hold on, just like Colleen Hoover. Who is Colleen Hoover? Making me look up a bunch of things today. Author.
This is a big day for research.
Yeah, primarily writes roles in the romance and young adult fiction genres. She was best known for a 2016 romance novel, It Ends With Us. I think I've heard of that before. Don't know.
I've
Anyway.
definitely heard that title. I've never read it, but I've definitely heard of it.
Oh, I recognize the cover, actually. I think I might have seen it in a store. Not sure. People also search for Colleen Ballinger. Yeah, I bet they do, just from the name alone.
Yeah, I think everyone searched for Colleen Ballinger that day.
Not even that
I
day.
can
There was
say
like,
I can say that day, and everyone's gonna know what I'm talking about, though.
there was like several days. There's a bunch of things that came out at different times.
Yeah, but I think there's a specific day that made her widespread to just about everyone.
This is fair. Okay. Apparently they're really bad. Apparently it's really bad books. Okay. The Gift of the by Anderson. Yeah, Christmas Carol. It looks like they do. Okay. I see. All right then. And there we go. Apparently some of them. Yeah, there's like, I don't know, different editions. They always do like weird things with those ones. You know, get the $5 or $8 one.
Why would you even buy it? Who do you think that money's going to? It's going to that's not going to the original author, or probably not even their family, to be honest. For a fairy tale, just get PDF.
Well, I suppose. I mean, it depends, because if you want to read it physically, you'd have to print out the PDF format, and that's just a terrible waste of paper.
I guess, but it's I don't know that I would want to spend $5 for a thing that you can get a PDF for completely legally, because there's not even if it doesn't exist whenever copyright did, it's fair game.
I guess. That sort of legitimizes the reason for copyright existing in a way.
I mean,
I don't know. Honestly, speaking of fairy tales and stuff before copyright, that should be. I mean, if Team Starkid eventually moved away from parodies that they used to do, their last one apparently was Annie, which was the Star Wars one I mentioned before. There's a variety of reasons behind that, but also including copyright, because Holy Musical Batman had to be spelt with the @ sign, B @ man, for several reasons. They also couldn't say Jasmine in Twisted, so she was just called the princess the whole time. But also, I guess, because he'd perform as well as they thought, and then they pivoted towards doing more original stuff after that. So, but honestly, yeah, they could probably go back to doing some parodies or some adaptations like Future Christmas Carol Live for other things too. I mean, why not? I would.
Jacob's bugging out here.
Take on, I don't know, Snow White or something. Why not?
See, here's the thing. I can hear
full collection of grim stuff, maybe. Interesting. That was.
Up.
Continue.
Okay, there we go. Wait. So no, I mean I could hear you perfectly, but it was cutting in between words. Say something and then it would wait 5 seconds, and then it would carry on, it was just backlogged.
Well, and that's not perfect. But anyway, Holy Musical Batman is President's favorite musical. Holy Musical Batman is President's favorite musical, and okay, that was actually Jeff Bloom's debut. So there you go. Always brings it back. The VHS is glitching.
Yeah, we just had to fast forward a little bit.
Yeah, okay. We'll talk about that Among Us musical some other time. I gotta go eat now.
Oh, all right. Nom nom belly.
Yeah,
turkey
we probably
or
should.
Goose.
I'm vegetarian. I can't make that joke. Oh well.
Pudding.
Yeah. Pudding. There we go. We'll go with that, of course. Among Us musical. Yeah, we probably should just call something again trouble for saying Among Us the musical. Maybe. Actually, no, we're not performing it live, so yeah, why not? Actually, depends. how
What
we
would
actually
be the case on that? Because Among Us is a phrase, right? But it's like,
Yeah, it's very clearly referencing the game.
yeah. But it's like, would you legally have plausible deniability? Just saying. In a hypothetical situation in which they sued them, right? Could they claim plausible deniability?
Starkid probably not, because they drop references like every 5 seconds in their parodies, but I don't know. Maybe we have to like change the layout of the spaceship or something.
They like make a replica and they move like two pieces of furniture, and they're like, see, completely legally distinct. It's
When I say
legally
change the layout,
distinct.
when I say change the layout, I don't just mean mildly update the feng shui. That's
They could
not
though.
quite what's
They
going on.
could.
Spirit animals like the hit gacha series. Yeah. Oh dear. Okay. All right. Well, I think that's a good place to call it, as I was saying before. So, again, I hope everyone is having a merry holiday season, Merry Christmas for if you celebrate it as of later. And of course, I have to say it's on the Butter Bunch. Happy Freezer Day.
Bye-bye.
No Freezer Day this year. We'll see. All right then. Well, so, Ben,
said-
let me know your thoughts of liking or disliking, leaving your comments on clarifying whatever else we said, and we'll see you all soon enough for another Butter Bunch video.
We take no
Cheers.
responsibility for anything we said. Goodbye.